why am I at an ashram? Why am I at an ashram when the world has so much to offer, right? That's what some of my friends ask me sometimes. Why am I here? Well, the world does have a lot to offer, obviously. And, with many things, it has a lot more to offer than an ashram has to offer. But when it comes to the world, I've pretty much had a taste of every major category that you could dabble in. Although I didn't take anything all the way, so to speak. But for sure, I've had relationships. I've had some degree of business endeavor and some degree of success and experience with drugs also. So, but I think what you pretty quickly realize if you do some deductive reasoning is that you can kind of extrapolate each of those paths, so to speak, out to their ultimate extreme, whether it just be sexual indulgence or relationship and family life or business life and success and or drug life, party lifestyle. You can see where each of those lead, and you find kind of somehow some sort of kind of end state or end game in that. And you realize that at that point, you're probably going to need to start your spiritual journey. You're going to have to look for some deeper answers about what life's all about and what's going to happen after you die. Unless you already came to terms with that and you're already doing that. That's kind of another thing is, of course, anybody can bring spirituality into their daily life, and it's obviously encouraged. But for me, I kind of wanted to cut to the chase. I recognize through certain experiences that I've had earlier in life that if I work on the spiritual aspect now, or first I should say as first priority, it trickles down to everything else. Everything else becomes easier, quicker. You have success in all areas at a faster rate anyway if you can accelerate at this. Getting to know yourself and coming to terms with who you are and all that. So I kind of wanted to just, if you're going for ultimate satisfaction in any of these things, you might as well go for ultimate satisfaction first and then go back to any of these things if you should want to. But obviously what starts to happen is if you start pouring tons of time and energy into the spiritual path and attempting to connect with the divine, your previous desire and hunger for certain things just kind of naturally goes away. Like my desire for massive success in the film industry, for example, has mostly gone away. It's not entirely gone. And don't get me wrong, I still love to make movies, and I make movies every day here. So the enjoyment I get out of it hasn't gone away, but the desire to achieve certain levels of status in the industry or anything like things like that, or win a certain prize or something, I just that desire has pretty much gone. There are other desires obviously that are in other categories that are much more sticky, and I don't know when they will go, and I think that's just the spiritual path. With dedication and time, perspective changes and your mind state changes. It's not an overnight thing like it is with drugs. But of course, with drugs, the big thing is that you come back to the state you were in before. You have to pay that debt. There's that equal and opposite reaction for that positive experience. You have to go back into the negative and pay your debt, so to speak. So it's not really real progress in a sense, although it can give you insight. It can give you a perspective and definitely can give you insights into life, but I don't think it necessarily moves you forward. It can only prepare you to move forward, if that makes sense, at least in my experience. So yeah, it's been damn near 2 years here now, actually, it's funny because I thought when I first came to the ashram, I thought it was going to be like a dusty wood floor and like cold showers and everything, but I forgot that's just kind of what I read about in books from like, ashram, like other yogis, writing about their experience in ashrams in like the 50s and 60s in India, and this is like modern day 2023. Like there's Wi-Fi, there's like hot shower. It's like fully a modern situation here, but all of the core principles and essence of it are still the same. So yeah, so it's been damn near 2 years. Freaking alarm clock going off again. Cutting out the recording is so annoying. Oh my god, Apple, come on. So many things still to fix in iOS, but anyway, I was saying it's been 2 years, and I'm getting towards a point where I kind of have to, I can feel it inside that I have to, either double down on the spiritual path and take a leap of faith, despite having still desires for the world, or I need to take what I've gotten here and then go back into the world and then bring spirituality into my life, that way. But I'm leaning towards the former just because, again, it still feels more expedited and challenging to just double down on the spiritual path and just see what the heck happens, even though it's kind of terrifying to kind of allow yourself to be subjected to certain rules and regulations, and certain vows that will prevent you from having certain life experiences. I'm talking about sex mostly. Like, to give that up is pretty extreme for me still, because I don't know what to say. Since a little kid, I've been, not a little kid, but since very young already been, really into intimacy. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. We're gonna have to figure out how to let go of, basically you gotta figure out how to let go of every single desire and attachment and just attach yourself to the divine itself. That's kind of what's being asked of an individual who dares to make a relationship with God. In exchange for God, you have to give up the world. And theoretically, for those of you who know God, He has everything to give. He has the world and infinitely more. And so, from that perspective, that trade is absurdly a good deal. But of course, from this mind who only knows this one life and this one world, it seems like a lot to give up. So, well, that's what my guru always says: you got to be a gambler if you're on the spiritual path. So let's take some gambles, y'all.